Hey. Hi, Dr. A.D. Finch. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, A.L. Brody. Hi, Adrian. Hello, you guys. Hi, Vince. Thank you so much for joining. Today, we are talking about the insanity of parenting. We're talking about the conscious parent. I'm so glad that you guys have joined. Definitely, if you can, share. Invite your followers. Let me turn this around. Hey, sister. Hi, Adrian. Thanks for joining. Flip. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. How are you? So, you guys, today we are talking all about the insanity of parenting. Yes, the insanity of parenting. For those of you that don't know me, hello, my name is Brooke-Sidney, and my company is called Bella and the Babe, and it's all about empowering authentic motherhood. And I have this awesome book club called The Conscious Parent. Hello, Miss Cage. Thanks for joining. Called The Conscious Parent. And I have been discussing this now for, a little over 2 months, because some chapters have been so meaty that they have required more than one Periscope video. Hello, Old Irish Punk. Thanks so much for joining. So today we're actually talking all about the insanity of parenthood, which is actually chapter 9, and this happens to be one of my favorite chapters. Thank you so much for giving hearts. So as a housekeeping measure, if you think that this, hi So Gooseberry, if you think that this scope could help someone that you know, hello Funkmaster, please go ahead and share on Twitter, share on Facebook. Hey, so happy that you're here. Share on Facebook, invite your followers so they can benefit. Hello, Funkmaster, so happy you're here. And if something that I'm saying resonates with you, definitely give hearts to let me know that you're getting something out of it. Or even if something makes you go, please do give hearts. That's so great. That way I know that it is making sense and that you're getting some value out of it. So today I really have about 5 points, but I really want to encourage you all to comment, to interact here, because I feel like this topic is really only as good as we all make it, because the insanity of parenthood is all about being authentic. Will do great. Being authentic in what we experience as parents, what we experience as motherhood. Thank you so much for the hearts, guys. That is kind of what it's all about, right? So the first thing is that conscious parenting is, a lot of people say, what's conscious parenting? It's really awareness parenting, but conscious parenting embraces the good and the bad. It's the good and the bad, right? It's acknowledging that parenting has great moments. Yes, share, you guys. Share, please invite more people in. It's acknowledging that there are great, wonderful moments when we have our children and we're, loving on them, maybe after childbirth when they're so small and so cute. But then there's also these crazy moments, these moments when they're not so good, right? Or the moments when they are challenging us. That this is the parenting journey, and being a conscious parent means acknowledging both the good and the bad, like the fullness of how it affects us, like psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. That is, yes, many crazy moments. Exactly, right? Like that is totally what this is. And a lot of us are like, wait, what? I didn't know I signed up for this, right? When we wanted to have children, we didn't know how much it would push us, how much it would help us grow and develop, but it really does. It really does. So, I think it's really important that we, as parents, we accept that we accept and embrace. Thanks so much for the hearts, guys, that we accept and embrace that is what this parenting journey requires, that we're going to be grown, and we're going to be stretched, and there's going to be good and there's going to be bad, right? Or not so good. Hello, Sonia's mom. Thanks for joining. Hi, Adrian. So, are you embracing the good and bad of your parenting journey, right? Like, I'm asking you guys, are you truly embracing it? And by embracing that means feeling okay with it, feeling okay with having the moments when we're like, oh my goodness, I don't love this right now. Hi, Jay Chase, or, this moment right now kind of sucks, or whatever, right? Like trying to figure out how to share. Oh, you swipe, up and to the right, and then if you go to the top, you'll see where you can share to your Twitter followers, you can invite all your followers, and even share to Facebook. I think that's right. Share to the right, swipe to the right. Hi, Night King, thanks for joining. So hit the little guy, exactly, the little guy. So basically, you guys, I just want to know if you are embracing the good and the bad in the parenting journey and encourage you to do so. So hi, Miles. Thanks for joining. The second thing is that parenting consciously requires our old lives and our old selves to disappear. Hello. Happy Monday evening. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you guys are here. I love it when you show up. So I think that a lot of times no one tells us, hello, Miles, no one tells us that our lives are drastically going to change when we have children. Like no one tells us. I mean, we know in a theoretical sense, but we don't really know until we're fully experiencing it. Yes, that's hard at the very beginning. It is. It's so hard at the very beginning, and especially for mothers. I'm going to get to that point. Hi, Candace. Hi, Solar Power. I'm so glad you guys are joining. Yes, like no one tells us how hard it's going to be, and no one tells us how life is drastically going to change as you become a parent. I mean, parenting is honestly one of the most difficult things you're ever going to do. You're going to have the child who refuses to go to sleep. Let's say you're a mother and you attempt breastfeeding and it doesn't work, or you're the father who's trying to get your child to do homework and he's not interested. Like the challenges are abundant, right? The challenges are abundant. I see you in here. Hello. Yeah, the challenges are abundant, and parenting is really difficult because it makes us question ourselves, right? It makes us question ourselves. When our challenges and difficulties comes up, refuses to change socks, exactly, wants to wear dirty clothes, Miles, like all of those things, right? It really challenges us. It challenges us, and a lot of us question ourselves. And we question our competence, our sanity, especially if we get upset. So I think really one of the key here is to recognize that there is so much spiritual potential in the parenting journey. You will be equipped to enter it if you become less resistant. If you become less resistant and you accept that there's going to be moments where you are stuck in overwhelm and in confusion as you grapple with it. So, really just even having the understanding that it's difficult and really admitting that is so key, you guys. It's so key. Yes, becoming less resistant. Exactly. So that's so true. So, rather than feeling guilty when these feelings arise, like when we're kind of tired of parenting or we've had a bad moment, if we can embrace all the insanities, then we capitalize on the moment to grow, and we can then shred the old identity and replace it with one that expands yourself. Love your poison Camian on camera. Oh, thanks Isaiah. Thanks so much for joining. Oh my God, I love his scopes. They're amazing. Yes, you guys, if you are into deepening your faith, Christian faith, he has really awesome scopes. So, and number three, this one's especially for mamas. And that's to say that we as mothers, we have a special role. And we'll get to it later, there are special things also that the fathers have, but moms, we have a special role. And that's because our identity our identity challenges, that's the best way to put it, happen even sooner because they happen when our babies are in our bellies, right? They happen during that gestation period, that 9 months where we're trying to figure out, are we a mom yet? And we're grappling with dealing with the little baby that is growing inside of us and what that means, those initial feelings of being protective, right? So, and it's during those months where we start to feel the old self kind of conflict with the new self that's developing. We really don't know, you guys. It's very, very new. But what's key here is that we are, we're in the moment with it. We're okay with knowing that things are changing, and we're honest and we're real and we're authentic about it. We're honest and we're real and we're authentic about it. That, I think, is really the key here. We are honest with the fact, especially mamas, we're honest with the fact that our lives are no longer just our own. I mean, in American society, we are taught that, you know, it's all about ourselves, and it's really not. And that's another whole bigger conversation. But we know that with our children, right, their life is definitely not our own, because we now belong to them at some level. We belong to them as being here to shepherd them and guide them. So it's really important that we acknowledge these changes that are occurring. And I think it's really interesting to think about the fact that as mothers, Miles says, I swear God sent a son because he knows men needed the most teaching. Yes, yes. I believe that God will give you the child that you need to help you grow. You know, I talk about this in almost all my scopes, but I believe that we are divinely created and inspired, and we are put here to manifest our God-given purpose. And so all of our children, right, have their own purpose. There's a reason why they exist. And it's not a coincidence that the mother and the father are paired with that particular child. That child is here to help you grow as well. And that's a part of what conscious parenting is. It is having the awareness to actually figure out, what on earth am I here to help guide my child to do, and what is my child here to help me learn and grow, and to realize kind of what is your stuff and what is your child's stuff. So that's a little bit of a tangent, but that's totally what all of this is about. That is the bigger picture of conscious parent. So anyway, so it's really just important that we as mamas, or even fathers who bear the primary responsibility for raising children, that we honestly share with other people. You know, we find community, we create community where we can be authentic. If not, we're going to be walking this journey alone, right? So whether you find people in your neighborhood, at your church, you join a toddler group, it's really, really important. I don't think I will truly understand a mother's investment. Yes, Miles, you know, I love the fact that you have a heart to know and understand it, and even recognize the power of that. That's actually beautiful. Like, I will start to cry, because there are so many people, not just men, but there are people that don't understand the symbiotic relationship even between a mother and child, especially when the child is in their belly, just that close tie, and how a mom is always thinking about their child. I think even Dr. Shefali mentions it in the book, how we're always, if their children are not with us or not taking care about them, we're thinking about them, or we are, you know, worried about them, right? He says, yeah. So, you know, it's really, really important that you guys, that you have people that you can walk this walk with, that you have community. If you don't have community, you can join mine. You know, I definitely have a mama community on Facebook. It's a free group. It doesn't cost anything to join it. We talk about the Conscious Parent Book Club, and we also share resources, but it's a place where I encourage people. That's what I am, an encourager. I encourage people to be real and authentic. Hello, A99. Thanks for joining. Real and authentic about, what's the name of the last book that you read? Are you talking about The Conscious Parent? That's the one that we're on, Sonia's mom. We're on The Conscious Parent. But yes, if you're interested in joining the mama community, you can go to bit.ly/CP Book Club. You can take a screenshot of that. And there, again, we're talking about The Conscious Parent, and also just sharing resources, being supportive, helping other mothers. That's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about. So it's really important that we, thank you so much, Sonia Mom, for sharing. It's really, really important that we walk this path and be authentic. And so then the fourth point is just knowing and acknowledging that we're going to be triggered, right? And Dr. Shefali calls it confronting the shadow parent. So that's really quite simple. We know that in the time of being a parent, from when they're small to when they actually leave our home, that at some point, really it's many points, they are going to trigger us. They are going to trigger our emotions. They're going to make us upset. There might be a moment, thanks so much for the hearts, when we shout or we scream, or we might even lose it, you guys. But it's important to accept that that is normal, right? That is normal. But it's not enough to just accept it. We want to then really evaluate, why are we being triggered? I mean, we talk about this a lot in the Conscious Parent Book Club. Why are we being triggered? And she says that basically, as much as you need to be present to your child's emotions, you also need to be present to your own, right? You need to own what's going on with you, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to help your child, and there's a chance that you will dump what's going on with you onto your child, and that's exactly what we're trying to prevent. So it's really, really important that we acknowledge whatever is triggering us so that we don't continue to emotionally unload on our children, right? Like, that's the big thing. That's the big thing that we don't want to do. And as Dr. Shefali, she calls it the shadow parent. The shadow parent is the parent that is seeking to control, that's ego driven. And I think it's just a lot easier to think about it as we don't want to unload on our children. And we want to make sure that we are approaching them with an empty space and with a full heart, and that we're not dumping our baggage and stuff onto them. That's like the key. And so the fifth point, and this is the last point, is that, and I really think this is the key point, is that raising a child is an invitation to surrender and to learn patience, right? We know that we need to surrender to the process. We know that we need to surrender to the process. A lot of us in our spiritual walks, we know we need to surrender, right? We need to surrender. Thanks, Mile, for inviting followers. We need to surrender. And especially with children, right? Our children, actually, they are going to help us develop this practice of surrender, and they're going to help us develop the practice of patience. Most of our children will lead you to, finding quiet time, prayer, meditating, whatever. They are going to lead you there because they are going to test us. That is what they do. And part of their development is actually the testing process. So know that the development of patience is more than a necessary response to our children. And it's an opportunity to start practicing being present in the moment. So I honestly think, and this, I will actually scope on this separately, but that when we lose the ability to be patient and have laughter, that it's kind of a red flag for some bigger issues that are going on in our lives and in our parenting. And Dr. Shefali touches upon it briefly, and it's one of the bigger things that I actually talk about a lot, and I'm going to scope about that separately. But the point here is just that our children are calling us to be patient. Our children are calling us to be in the moment with them, to acknowledge them, to, have fun with them, to not bring our stuff and put it on them, right? And Dr. Shefali writes, she says, with their slower tempo, children offer us a priceless jewel, since a child's natural rhythm is much closer to a soul rhythm than that of most adults, right? Children don't have agendas. Like, they don't have 20 things planned, especially when they're younger. They don't have 20 things planned for the day. They're usually not rushing around. We as parents, we're the ones that have created huge agendas, and we're rushing around. And, if we are not really present, then we're not doing a good job both for ourselves and for our children. We're not being present. Hi, Admired Red Rose. Thank you so much for joining. If we're really anxious and not present, it's really best to ourselves and to our children for us to take a break. For us to enter into quiet, enter into stillness, enter into prayer, whatever that you need. That's what works for me. And we can restore our sense of peace, right? Because we want to approach our children with a sense of peace. Hello, Admired Red Rose. So, when we are being triggered, when we are being triggered and our children are being difficult, we want to say, why am I being triggered? What's going on? And take a breath. Leave the room and regroup, right? That's what we want to do, because oftentimes it's not our child. It's us who needs help, right? So if you lose your patience and you project your frustration onto your children, just take a deep breath and forgive yourself, and then let it go and begin all over. Don't relish in it. Don't obsess about just what happened, what just happened. You want to just move on from it. You want to acknowledge that it happened and forgive it and let it go, right? But If you find yourself losing patience frequently, like that's the situation that involves a level of scrutiny. That's because there's really no reason for us to lose patience on a daily basis unless your life is stretched too thin. Hi, Sky. Thank you for joining. You know, if it's stretched too thin, it's then time to evaluate our circumstances and see what needs to change. And that focus is a part of the spiritual process that we would need to do so that we can restore our balance and have the time and have the patience, because that is what it takes. And I definitely will be coming back on with a later scope, really to talk more about the power of patience, and how that can permeate parenting, how that can permeate your motherhood. I'm really a big believer in developing those skills and not just putting Band-Aid solutions on, like, oh, here's the time management solution, or here's a this management solution, or here's a this or that. It's really about digging deep to figure out what is going on at the root, to really pull it out from the root so that we can parent more consciously. Not to say that those tools don't help and those tools aren't great, but it's really getting to the root of what's causing us to look for tools, especially outside of ourselves. So that is it. I'd love to take any questions. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'd love for you to share, in fact, anything that has to do with the insanity that is parenting, the insanity that is, Bible says not to exasperate our children, probably not imposing agendas. Exactly, Miles. And Miles, that's exactly it. You know, we as parents, we have so many agendas. We have agendas for ourselves. We have agendas for our children, where they need to go, what they need to do, where they need to go to school, what they need to know, how many things they have to do before they can get into college. Like there's a plethora of things. And, you know, even Dr. Shafali talks about the fact that if you have children that are resistant to the agenda, you might want to slow down and figure out why. Like maybe you don't want to impose that agenda, you know, and think about, especially when they get to an age where you really should be listening to their voice as well, figuring out what it is that they would like to do and incorporating that into it too, so they have a voice and they feel heard. So yes, Miles, definitely we are told not to exasperate our children. Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. It's beautiful. It's definitely, the Bible tells us that. So, yes, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. So I really encourage us, you know, to think about how we're parenting, but also to just embrace the journey for what it is, to know that there's good and there's bad. There's going to be exhilarating moments, and then there's going to be exasperating moments, and that they're all a part of it, but it can all be used for our good. It can all be used for our good to help us grow and to help us learn, help us surrender. So that's it. That's it for today. Does anyone have any questions? Or any thoughts, any comments? I really enjoyed this chapter. I encourage you all to get this book. But if not, feel free to keep popping in on the scopes and giving your parenting wisdom. Miles says, you're so well spoken. Thank you. Yes, thank you. You're so sweet, Miles. I love when you pop into the scopes. Sonia Mom says, I love your scopes. Thank you. I love seeing you guys. Hello, Heather May. You guys are great. You make it worthwhile to do this. But yes, I really enjoyed you guys. Definitely check out the book. If not, check out next week. Every Monday, I talk about the conscious parent. That is kind of the schedule, usually at some point between 4:30 and 6 p.m. Pacific time. So that is 7:30 to 9 Eastern time. Always trying to figure out the different time zones. So I encourage you to join. I encourage you to share. If you're not following me, please do follow me. Thank you so much for the hearts. Again, I do have a mama community. For the mamas out there, bit.ly/CP Book Club. I'd love for you to join. Join the fun. Join the authentic mothering conversations. And then if you don't have the conscious book yet, you're welcome to get the book from my store. I always forget about this, but I do actually have the book, bit.ly/Mama Faves. It's in there under the motherhood section. I have tons of good mother things, a lot of good things that I have found on this path, everything from like conception to pregnancy, I know for the guys that are on here, to motherhood, all sorts of good stuff in the stores. So definitely have a good Monday evening. I've really enjoyed you guys, and thanks so much for your participation. Have an awesome Monday. Talk to you later. Bye.